but I have no control over that. That's not my place to judge or do anything about or whatever. Some people consider what I do evil. So in light of that, the other evil I do my best to give a pass to. Because I don't understand everything. I know that there's limits to what, like, okay, so that's the thing. There are limits. Limit to being individuated while being God. So if you're in this God state, you don't just get to, it isn't creative mode in Minecraft. By placing myself in the present, I was able to witness the perfection of creation. It's not consoling. It doesn't make the problems go away. Nonetheless, like, the word perfect is something that I didn't believe in, but God created circumstances under which that I experienced perfection repeatedly, to the point where I was able to acknowledge that they were miracles. Capital M. Miracle handed down from God. Gnosis, whatever you want to call it. Like, oh shit. Now what am I supposed to do? Like, why is God handing me fucking messages? And what am I supposed to do with those messages? If it's not okay to discuss it in public, or to discuss it, period. Or I have discussed it, and then it gets met with dismissal or incredulity. Well, I don't have the time or the effort to make myself credible in the eyes of other people. Or some of the people that I've known the longest or the closest to me, the people I trust the most or whatever, I relay the message, the word, the plan of God to them, and they go, dude, you should probably go to therapy. Dude, you need to go to the Social Security office because you're fucking crazy and you need money to live. I've crossed the line. Like, I'm like witnessing in real time that, like, I am absolutely fucking bonkers. There's no way to dumb this down into a consensus worldview that people like to associate things like logic and observation to the realm of science, that science provides answers or whatever. Science hit a fucking wall 70 some years ago, whenever they started doing the particle physics stuff. And they're like, oh shit, like, God's real. Like, none of this makes fucking sense. Einstein said everything's happening all the time, everywhere, or whatever, and that by some mechanism, that, you know, a persistent illusion, we are people that experience linear time. Yeah, linear time, not a real thing. Physical thing, like, I have explored the depths of the world ignoring the physicality. Not ignoring, like, the qualia, but ignoring ideas that result from the belief in physicality, such as possession, or ownership or whatever. Like, I was able to avoid greed based on my belief system. Well, but I've reached a point where, like, the grinding fucking poverty that I have chosen throughout my entire life, because I refuse to self-righteously exploit other people. To make money is to exploit. Like, to make more money than you need to live is to exploit. Now, there's currently the argument that, oh yes, exploitation is good so far as you give that excess to those who need it. Like, you know, boy, I could be so self-righteous and make nothing and scrape by my whole life and all that. But if I were really righteous, I would earn what I could and give what I don't need to those that I care about that do need it. That is the morally superior position. And I don't fully understand why I reject that position. Or I can give you bullshit towards that ends that I don't want to exist. I don't want to be the exploiter. I don't want to play the game. I'm fucking Shinji, refusing to get in the Ava because I personally don't understand, or what, like, there's something I don't get. But I have been intellectually poisoned by, like, the thoughts of Ayn Rand, where the moral high road to me exists in the refusal to be exploited. That not only when engaging in earning a living are you exploiting others, but you're also involved in the process of being exploited. That your boss is earning proportionally more money than you based on the effort exerted, and that is unfair. And I think that's the sum of my argument as to why I refuse to work. Now, and see, this is one of the things, like, whenever you're offered a practical solution for a situation and you reject that, then that means you're in denial and it's about something else. So the rational solution I've offered myself in exchange for that is, well, you could be self-employed. And my irrational rejection of that is that I lack the motivation. I would rather die than exert the amount of effort necessary to support myself through the fruits of my own labor. It's too hard. That should not. Now, meanwhile, see, this is antithetical to my position or whatever. Like, I contradict myself constantly. I don't want to work. I'm exhausted. I'm too tired. I'm not qualified for anything. I'm overqualified for everything. I hate people. I don't want to contribute to the society of people. I want to save everyone, and that the only way to save everyone is to bring about the changes that will create the better world that does take care of everyone. So, at the end of my last employment, the reason I had to quit being a claims processor for an insurance company, I was processing Medicaid claims, was that the industry itself is misaligned. That to earn profit off of the suffering of human beings is fucking wrong. And I had an argument all laid out, plain as day, because everybody involved in that business has to kill a part of themselves in order to carry out systemic dehumanization. And I had the opportunity to try to take it up. I wanted to take it up the chain of command, start with my manager, go to theirs, go to the next, and explain, hey, this entire industry is misaligned. If we're the best insurance company in the United States of America, so by default makes us the best one in the whole world, why are we not an industry leader that brings this industry into alignment with human values? Like the corporate slogan was helping people live healthier lives. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, not for 1 second are you fucking doing that. You are trying to maximize profit for shareholders. That's misalignment. You have put money over these people's well-being. I didn't pursue that course of action because who the fuck am I? Okay, so I'm the prophet, I'm the son of God, whatever. I speak for God. I know God's plan. What am I gonna do convincing a bunch of stupid fucking monkeys that they ought to listen to me? That's never gonna fucking happen. I've seen what happened the last, 2,000 years or whatever. That's not in the cards. And also too that I've been presented with the divine wisdom that the world doesn't need saved. It's already perfect. And I just don't fucking understand it. And I need to keep living until I do. That no action is required on my part. And so the delusional world that I live in is that me thinking thoughts, and especially not just now, but throughout my life, is what's shaping the coming utopia or whatever. And dude, that's the thing. Like, I've felt guilty the last year or 2 years, of living in my own private paradise, of my own creation. And then the rest of the world goes on and suffers. And I wish I could tell them, hey, it's actually perfect. Don't be so hard on yourself. Be grateful for the things you have. And if you do that, you're like, oh, wow, it is fucking... We do live in heaven on earth. Barring that you're able to ignore hell on earth. And you're not allowed to ignore that there's hell on earth. So thus, the cycle perpetuates itself. So instead, I just walked away. I was like, you know what, these people, nobody wants to hear what I have to say. That's the thing I have in common with Rust the most. I've held his positions before, most of them, and don't necessarily hold all of them to this day or whatever. But I hold myself accountable for thinking all the thoughts that I ever thought. But the thing that helps remind me, or that reminds me most, the similarity between me and Rust is how much he pisses off Woody's character. That Woody be telling him to shut the fuck up all the time, or like saying the things that people don't want to hear, like the Aleister Crowley term center of pestilence, Thelema. Um, I am a center of pestilence. I always have been. Nobody wants to fucking hear what I have to say. Um, I, strongly convinced that I am neurodivergent. The neurotypical world. I mean, I get it, and I refuse to participate. And then I make myself a social pariah. Is that the right word? Um, like, I've always been the jerk because I don't have pleasantries. I don't. I think neurotypical people are very committed to their self-delusion. And I feel like I've spent so much time breaking away from my self-delusion that it's difficult to even relay back to average or above average people. That now whenever I try to relay back to above average people, I would come off with the tone of either, just some variety of crazy, delusional, self-aggrandizing, delusions of grandeur, uh, messiah complex, main character syndrome, but legitimate profit is not on the table. I will have to die. Like, the things that I say and do and try to impart the way I think things ought to be upon the world, as wholesome or as productive or as good as they may be, they cannot be integrated on a personal level. That if people were to start praising me or something